Alright, buckle up, because what you're about to hear sounds more like a movie script than real life. Imagine being just 34 years old and already surviving 18 attempts on your life. That's not fiction. That's the real-life story of Ibrahim Traore, the bold and battle-hardened military leader of Burkina Faso. Now let's rewind a bit. Ibrahim wasn't always dodging bullets and outsmarting enemies. He started out as a regular kid born in 1998, growing up in Burkina Faso. Later, he joined the military, but here's the twist. He didn't just carry guns. The man also carried books. He studied geology at the University of Ouagadougou. That's right, he knows his way around both a battlefield and a rock sample. While at university, something stirred in him. He got deeply involved in student protests and political movements. The kind of stuff that makes you question the system and say, we can do better. Fast forward to September 2022. Boom. He pulls off a power move straight out of a history book. Traoré leads a dramatic coup that pushes out the sitting president, Paul-Henri Damiba, and takes charge of the country. Just like that, he's not only running the show in Burkina Faso, he's the youngest African head of state at the time, but with great power comes great enemies. Now here's where things get intense. Since that coup, Traoré's been walking a tightrope. He's made some bold choices, especially around cutting ties with foreign powers like France, giving cold shoulders to groups like ECOWAS, and raising eyebrows in Washington. And guess what? Not everyone's clapping for him. Some are loading their weapons. Assassination attempts, not 1, not 5, 18. And that's just the ones we know about. So the big question is, why him? Why are people lining up to take this guy out? And what secrets are buried underneath all this chaos? From foreign hands stirring the pot to whispered betrayals at home, there's a whole lot more than meets the eye. All right, picture this. A young man from a small town in Burkina Faso, smart as a whip and tough as nails, decides he's had enough of watching his country struggle while outsiders get rich off its gold. That guy. His name is Ibrahim Traore. And trust me, he's not your usual president. Before he ever wore a military uniform or stood behind a podium, Traoré was just a regular kid with big dreams and sharp questions. He didn't grow up rich or famous, but what he did have was a sharp mind and a whole lot of fire in his belly. Now get this, he studied geology in university. Yep, rocks and minerals. But he wasn't just hitting the books. While most students were focused on getting jobs after school, Traoré was out there on campus organizing protests, calling out the unfair stuff happening in his country. He kept asking the big question, why is our land packed with gold, but our people still live in poverty? That question never left him, not when he joined the military, not when he started rising up the ranks like wildfire, and definitely not when chaos and terror were spreading across Burkina Faso, and the government at the time couldn't keep it together. Then came the big day, September 30th, 2022. Boom, Traoré made his move. He ousted the man in charge, Paul-Henri Damiba, and took control of the country. Just like that, a young soldier became the leader of a nation. And he didn't come in quietly. He made it very clear. No more begging for help from the West. No more letting foreign armies set up shop. No more handing out gold and resources like free candy. He promised to clean up the mess, corruption, exploitation, all of it. But those promises, they painted a huge target on his back. Because when you stand up and say, this land belongs to us, powerful people get angry, especially the ones who've been making a fortune from it. So the moment Traoré shut the door on France, paused deals with the US military and said, we're taking back control. Well, let's just say the countdown began. Okay, let's break this down, because what's going on with Captain Ibrahim Traoré sounds like something straight out of a thriller, only it's all real. Since the moment he stepped into power, someone's been trying to take him out. Not once, not twice, but 18 times. Yeah, you heard that right. 18. That's not bad luck. That's a man walking through fire and somehow never getting burned. And these aren't all obvious attacks either. Some were sneaky, like slipping poison into his food or staging accidents that didn't feel so accidental. Others were way more aggressive. We're talking about bombs planted along his travel route, sniper bullets that nearly hit their mark, full-on ambushes, even people from within his own circle turning against him. But somehow, every single time, he made it out alive. Now this isn't just luck or good timing. Traore moves like a man who knows what's coming. He's surrounded by a tight-knit group of loyal soldiers and advisors who believe in something much bigger than just one leader. They believe in Africa running its own show, no strings attached. Locals call him one of the war people, someone the ancestors would have chosen. There's strategy, yes, but there's also something deeper guiding him: spiritual strength, ancestral wisdom, and a nation that's tired of being pushed around. But let's get to the big question. Who's behind all this? Who's so desperate to see him gone? Well, ever since Traore took the reins, he's been shaking tables. He told France to pack up and leave. He froze military deals that gave foreign armies too much control. He told ECOWAS, "You're not fooling anyone," and pushed them aside. He stopped US military activities, quietly, without making a scene. Then he blocked media giants like the BBC and Voice of America for spreading stories that didn't sit right with him. And then came his biggest move yet, teaming up with Mali and Niger to create a powerful alliance, a military one that says, we don't need outsiders to protect our homes. So yeah, it's no mystery why some people are panicking. Old power players, foreign agencies, big companies making millions off African resources, and local big shots who've always played by the old rulebook are now watching their grip slip. They're not used to someone like Traore, who doesn't flinch, doesn't fold, and refuses to be anyone's puppet. And yet, through all the threats and attacks, he's still standing, stronger, louder, and more determined than ever. In 2022, while many were hoping for peace, Burkina Faso was spiraling. Terror attacks were rising, people were scared, and the government losing control. That's when a young military captain named Ibrahim Traore stepped up and made a move that nobody saw coming. On September 30th, like a plot twist from a movie, Traore took over the government. He removed the man in charge, Lieutenant Colonel Damiba, and promised something that had been missing for years: a Burkina Faso that answers to its people, not to outsiders. No more being pushed around by powerful countries. No more corruption soaking up the country's wealth. Just freedom, pride, and ownership. But making big promises like that, it comes with enemies and danger. Since that day, someone, or maybe lots of someones, has tried to kill him. Not once, not twice. 18 times. Yup, you read that right. Some of the attempts were sneaky: a drink laced with poison during a quiet dinner, a car accident that seemed too perfectly timed. Others, straight up scary. Bombs planted on the road, gunmen waiting in ambush, a sniper hidden in the shadows, even betrayal from people inside his own team. And yet, every single time, he made it out alive. People say it's because Traore doesn't walk alone. He's surrounded by a team of loyal fighters, the kind who'd rather die than see him fall. Spiritual guides help him move with wisdom. And the people? Oh, they stand with him like a living shield. They believe in him, like he's their last hope. But here's where things get even more wild. Who's trying to take him out? Is it random attackers? Or is there something bigger going on behind the curtain? Let's look at what he's done since taking power. He gave foreign soldiers the boot. France out, America out. He stopped playing nice with big political groups like ECOWAS, calling them puppets for powerful outsiders. He shut the door on global media outlets like BBC and Voice of America for spreading stories he called unfair. And now, he's teaming up with leaders from Mali and Niger to form a united front against foreign control in West Africa. That's bold, really bold, and it's got a lot of people nervous, especially the ones who used to profit from Burkina Faso's gold, uranium, and land. Some say that's why he's been targeted. Spy agencies, rich companies, even some African leaders who don't want their own people getting ideas. They've all got something to lose if Traore succeeds. But here's the part no one expected. He's still standing. And the attempts? Let's talk about the first one. Just 2 weeks after he became president, someone tried to poison him. It was during a dinner, quiet and private. A familiar face tried to slip something deadly into his tea. But a sharp-nosed aide caught the strange smell. The next day, that officer was gone, like he'd never existed. Then came attempt number 4. A deadly bomb was hidden on the road during a trip up north. Traore was supposed to be in a certain car, but guess what? At the last minute, the vehicle broke down and they had to switch rides. Boom. The blast went off, but he wasn't in the target car. 2 soldiers died instead. Attempt number 7 still haunts the halls. A trusted senior officer, someone in the room for top-secret meetings, was caught sending GPS data about Traore's location. The whispers say he was tied to a foreign spy network. He was arrested under cover of night. And to this day, no one knows where he ended up. These attacks aren't just physical. They mess with your mind. They force you to stay 2 steps ahead, even in your sleep. That is, if you sleep at all. Now Traore moves like a ghost, never in the same place twice, never following the same path. Even his own bodyguards don't always know where he's headed. He's not just avoiding bullets, he's avoiding betrayal from the people closest to him. Because when you shake the world by standing up, you don't just make friends, you rattle cages. Sometimes when the lights go out at the presidential palace, the captain isn't even there. While most leaders sleep behind thick walls and fancy gates, Ibrahim Traore is moving. Quietly, secretly. One night he might be sleeping in a safe house deep in the city. The next, he could be traveling through underground paths, changing routes last minute. Even his own guards are left guessing. He's become a master of disappearing. Like a shadow in the night, always 1 step ahead, never in the same place twice. Yet, even while hiding from danger, he leads his people with fire in his eyes and a voice that says, "We deserve better." And here's the head-scratcher. Why is the world just watching? Why aren't big news stations talking about this young African leader who's dodging death because he dared to say, "Let my country own its gold, let my people be free"? Shouldn't standing up for your country count for something? But behind the silence, something darker might be hiding. Some folks in the spy world are whispering, whispers loud enough to turn heads. They say a few powerful countries, angry about losing control of Burkina Faso's treasures, are secretly helping rebel groups and hiring sneaky agents to take Traore out of the picture. Satellite scans and leaked messages seem to point fingers. At France, because they were shown the door and lost their grip on uranium mines. At the US, because their military camp in the region got shut down. At Ukraine, rumored to be mad about Traore's friendship with Russia. And even some African presidents afraid that if their people see Traore's bold moves, they'll want the same change at home. This isn't just about one man, it's a bigger fight. A tug of war between the old ways that benefit a few and a new path that gives power back to the people. But guess who hasn't budged through it all? The people of Burkina Faso. You'll see his name on walls in bright colors. You'll hear it in songs sung in dusty villages and big cities alike. Kids wear shirts with his face. Grandparents bless him in their prayers. And ordinary farmers, they've stood between him and danger, bare hands, brave hearts. To them, he's not just the man in charge, he is the revolution. He's the voice they've waited for. Still, the story isn't over, not even close. Sources say there's already talk about a 19th attempt on his life. And this one? It might come from someone very close to him. Next time, we're pulling back the curtain, showing you who's been leaking secret security info, which country just flew surveillance drones over Ouagadougou, and what shady meeting in Ivory Coast may be tied to the next attack. What we found will blow your mind. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit that follow button. Your support is the fuel that keeps us going. Now, if you're looking at Captain Ibrahim Traore from afar, you might just see a guy in military gear, giving speeches and waving at crowds. But behind those cameras, he's living a totally different life, a life where every single day could be his last. Imagine waking up not knowing if your food has been poisoned, or if someone you shook hands with might be plotting behind your back. That's Traore's everyday reality. He's now dodged death 18 times. And we're not talking about bad luck or accidents. We're talking real, scary, planned-out attacks. One of those close calls came straight from someone inside the system. A trusted source from his own guard shared a jaw-dropping detail. Traore had once written a goodbye letter to his mom because he wasn't sure he'd make it through the night. Why? A sniper, highly trained, brought in from outside the country, managed to sneak dangerously close to the presidential grounds. The only reason he was caught. A young soldier noticed something odd. His boots didn't match the rest of the team. That small detail saved the captain's life. But the scariest part, the danger isn't just outside the gates anymore, it's creeping in from people he once called friends. Some of the men who stood beside him in the early days, dreaming of a new Burkina Faso, have started turning their backs. Fancy gifts, piles of cash, and promises from powerful outsiders are tempting them to switch sides. Still, Traore isn't backing down. In a private meeting, he reportedly told his inner circle something that hit hard. "If I die, I'll die a free man, not someone's puppet." That one sentence sent a shockwave through the youth. Across campuses, students are forming study clubs in his name. Artists are painting his image on cracked walls. People are calling him Africa's last lion. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, things are heating up. Drones have been spotted flying over key military areas. Satellite photos have shown strange cars with foreign license plates hanging around spots that should be locked tight. Somebody's planning something. Something big. But here's the twist. Traore's not standing alone. Leaders and voices from Mali, Niger, Guinea, even far-off corners like South Africa and Congo are starting to ask the same question. Why is one African man with a dream causing so much panic in the West? And the answer, because a free Africa, where the people control their gold, their land and their choices, isn't convenient for those used to calling the shots. Even with all that pressure, Traore keeps showing up. Front lines, villages, speeches. No body double, no hiding. Just him. Every move he makes, it's like he's daring the world to come at him face to face. So here's the part they don't want you to hear. Not long ago, something happened that sent chills down the spine of everyone close to Captain Traore. A close contact from the Presidential Guard spilled the beans about one of the scariest nights the captain's ever faced. It was so serious, so close to the edge, that he actually sat down and wrote a goodbye letter to his mom. Just in case. That's how real it got. What went down? A sniper, super trained, not your average shooter, had somehow crept into the outer zone of the presidential compound. He was in position, weapon ready, target locked. The plan, quick and quiet. No one would have seen it coming. But here's where it gets wild. A young, low-ranking soldier, someone probably just doing routine checks, noticed something odd. The sniper's boots didn't match the standard uniform. That tiny detail, a pair of boots, unraveled the entire mission and saved the president's life. Intelligence files behind locked doors are showing a spike in drone activity. Not local drones, foreign ones, eyes in the sky scanning military areas. And then there are cars with unfamiliar license plates showing up near heavily guarded zones. Somebody's clearly snooping around, and they're not just sightseeing. It's becoming more obvious by the day. There's a plot, and it's not just from a single country or group. Whispers say there are several names in the mix. France, bitter about being pushed out. The US, not happy about their base being shut down. Ukraine, allegedly upset over Burkina Faso's lean toward Russia. Even leaders in West Africa, who are sweating at the thought of their own people getting inspired by Traore's moves. This isn't just about one man anymore. It's about an idea that's spreading. And that scares the people who've been pulling Africa's strings for decades. But Captain Traore? He's not hiding. He's walking through it all with his head high, visiting soldiers at the front line, talking directly to his people. No flinching, no backing down. Every move he makes is like he's saying, if you've got something to say it to my face. And just when you think it can't get more intense, here comes the storm. There's talk of secret files leaking, audio clips that were never meant to be heard, old conversations that are about to come back to haunt a lot of powerful people. The storm is building, and soon the world will know just how deep the conspiracy against Traore really runs, and who's pulling the strings behind the scenes. If you care about the truth and want to see what they don't want you to know, make sure you subscribe to our channel right now. You won't want to miss what's coming next.